you are known for music and making powerful music.
Yeah.
So were you afraid to do pep talks? Because even though it's all together, it is an album that is spoken word.
Yeah.
And so to some people that might say, oh, well, that's taking them off his path.
Yeah.
So how were you at all nervous about doing this? And tell me about why it was such a calling for you to do it, because it had to be a calling. Because we don't just deviate from things that are working for us just because willy-nilly.
I want to say this: the pandemic, the Great Awakening, the Great Standstill, was a time of deep introspection for me, where I really was faced with seeing myself. I had a new love. Shout out to my wife that I married in the pandemic.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. She's a whole doctor of education. She's a professor. But I was faced with the reality that, Major, you really have to live the hope you give. And that comes by way of many avenues. Whatever it is that you're called to, lean into it. And music is but of one of the many things that I am. I am a speaker. I do voiceover. I act. I have a mind for marketing. I have a mind for psychology and mental health. And I also have a gift for making the complex things simple.
Yeah.
I have a
That's
gift
a real
for,
gift.
Yeah, I have a gift for that. April 4th, 2020, we all know where we were.
2 weeks into this nightmare.
Right. We're at home. And if you weren't home, shame on you unless you were an essential worker. So salute to the essential workers. I got a group text, which I can't stand group text especially when Androiders join in, because you can't leave the conversation. You're stuck. But I digress. I got a text from a brother that doesn't text much, and he said, let's pray for the hope of the world at 10:45 Eastern Standard Time. He said the COVID-19 has not only affected the molecular, but it's impacted the mental and the spiritual. And he said, so what it's done is it's caused people to be gripped in a paralysis of belief and hope. And we got to pray for the hope of the world. He says the plague was asked why it had killed so many. The plague responded, I only killed 100. The thousands that died from the fear of me.
Wow.
Bev, it's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset shift.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I realized that my brother Chadwick Boseman, who sent that text, who 4 months later makes a transition that shook the world, ironically on the same day that Dr. King had his dream, he had every right, Chadwick had every right to wallow in the despair of his condition.
Yes.
But he decided to unapologetically lean into hope, not only for himself, but also the world. It was a charge that said, Major, you got work to do. Lean into this calling that is on your life as a hope dealer. And I said, I got some stuff to say. We recorded it. I called my brother Darian Dorsey to soundtrack it. And we made Major Hope Motivations, which also deals with grief. Dear Griever, that deals with anxiety and worthiness. And then I did this pep talks, and I said, I'll put some music in between it, but we got music on the way. We ain't done with the music.